All right, what's up, guys? It's Apurva. I got another great episode of the Door Stories. My good friend Farid Shador. We've long time, professional
For a long
friends and
time.
colleagues, and known each other for a long time. So I'm excited to kind of unpack your journey, Farid. Thanks
Yeah.
for joining me today.
Oh, for sure. Thanks for inviting.
Absolutely. So let's kind of take it from the very beginning. Right out of college, we're both Cougars
Yeah.
together. But
Yeah.
let's talk about kind of your professional journey
Yeah.
and where it all
For,
started.
for sure, man. So right after college, so I was working for Scottrade at that time. I was doing an internship, but in my family bloodline, it's always been entrepreneurship, right? All my friends were like going to oil and gas and this and that, and I was like, man, I gotta go the entrepreneurial route. So I went to wireless. I started in South Texas with a few T-Mobile stores.
Okay.
And
Were you a
then-
salesperson, or did you like jump in and start buying stores?
No, we built stores over
Okay.
there. Yeah. So we built stores in Brownsville, McAllen,
Oh, wow.
Harlingen. We were there. I was there for about 2.5 years. But the thing was, man, I really didn't enjoy that living there. It's like a small town or
small
whatever, right?
towns.
And then I bought out my partner, and then I sold those stores in 2005.
Okay.
And then we had heard about this company called Leap Wireless, Cricket Wireless. And my former partner said, hey, this is like the newest thing. It's like an all-you-can-eat plan. Because back then it was like 3,000 minutes,
Yeah.
600 minutes and
Oh,
nights
remember
and
those
weekends,
days. Yes,
all
yes,
that.
yeah.
For the viewers, some may know, some may not know.
Yeah,
but,
that's right.
But anyhow, so then what happened was like, hey, this is gonna be big in Houston. So we went to different parts of the country, saw like all these corporate stores, and saw, hey, it's doing pretty well. So this is a product needed in Houston. So we opened a few stores in Houston, and then Washington D.C., and then the Maryland area, and we did that for a little bit. And then what happened was that we knew the path to success was good real estate and good people, right? So I decided then to get my license in 2009 for real estate. And I went straight into commercial. And the reason was to find better locations for our stores. And to us, we didn't really care about the rent. It was about being on Main and Main. We had our formula. We knew exactly when you saw these different stores that to get a good store, you got to have like a end cap location and all that stuff, right? So I got my license, started making inroads with a lot of brokers in Houston, and started opening more stores. And then people started recognizing, like, hey, how'd you get this location? And I was like, man, I do this now. I have my license. I kind of have access to all this. So people started approaching, can you get me a location? I want a location like similar to yours, and this and that. So I started becoming like the cell phone broker for a little
awesome.
bit,
And then unpack that for a second,
Yeah.
real quick. So you were inspired to go get your license because mostly to solve a need,
Yeah.
right, of like getting access and visibility to better locations.
Better
for your
locations,
business.
exactly, because we knew exactly once we found out, like, hey, these stores are doing well, and we took some risk, right? And we saw like, okay, it's got to be in this area, it's got to have an end cap, it's got to have this much traffic count, demographics got to be this. So we kind of just did like a rinse and repeat. So
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
But then the most interesting thing to me is effectively what could have been your competitors now became your clients.
Yeah, basically, because they
They
started
were like,
like,
hey,
yeah.
get us the good locations.
Yeah. So I started going for like other companies, T-Mobile, Sprint. Sprint was when Sprint was around.
Right.
And then Verizon and Boost Mobile and all these others, right? So then I started doing that. I was like, man, I'm enjoying this. I like doing this. And then in 2012, I did my first investment sale. That was like, I was really,
So you were just doing retail leases
Yeah.
up until this point.
yeah. And then 2012, I did my first. So this is an old McDonald's building. And the old McDonald's building, they had like a big old play area, and
Oh, yeah.
it was like about
remember those.
5,000 to 6,000 square feet. And my client at the time, he was like, man, I want to buy this location. And the thing was, there was no sign, no nothing on there.
Right.
So I had to hunt and get all the information from CoStar and all
Yeah.
that stuff. And then the main owner for that McDonald's building was like, hey, I just listed it with XYZ company, so call them. I called him. He was like, I've got multiple offers on this thing.
Right.
So I told my client, Matt, make sure we go above that.
Strong, yeah.
Strong offer. Let's do it. So we put the offer in. We got in a contract. We closed on it. Luckily, our offer was the highest. Come around 2 years later, he was like, I want to go ahead and sell it. So I was able to get him not even double, like more 200,000 more than double the price of what we bought it for.
Wow.
And I felt really good about it because the person who bought it, this was this lady. She had a similar entrepreneurial journey as my client. She was in the bakery business. She owned this bakery for like 20 something years. And she's like, it was my lifelong dream to go ahead and buy my own real estate. I'm making good money, but I don't want to throw it away in the leasing, you know?
Yeah.
So it was really rewarding to go ahead and do that, and then awesome. I started getting more and more and more into it after
into
that.
the sales side.
Yeah.
So, and I'm gonna kind of still stay back a little bit.
Yeah.
So your starting journey was both cellular sales and then kind of entrepreneurship at the same time.
Pretty much.
Sales is and that's
the foundation,
grind.
right? It's the denominator for everything. I mean, every day we're selling something about ourselves or whatever, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
But I love that, and in fact, I don't know if you know this, like I had a cell phone like background way back in the days, like Best Buy sales rep.
Oh yeah.
But so we got some synergy there. But yeah, I mean, that kind of got you extremely uncomfortable to understand kind of, like you said, just representing yourself, getting yourself out there.
Yeah.
And that drove you to not only be strong from a real estate salesperson, but also kind of translates to the entrepreneurial side, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Because you're selling yourself to your employees, your team, et cetera, as a leader.
Exactly, yeah.
So let's talk about, kind of the fast forward. So you dip your toe into real estate, started getting some track record, mostly in the retail brokerage, and then started becoming commercial sales.
Yeah.
Let's take it from there.
Yeah. So then basically started getting more and more into retail, and then first I wanted to get into was hotels and also multifamily, but I started drifting more and more into retail, warehouse, and land.
Wow.
So pretty much that's a lot. I sold a lot of centers and things like that, and it was really fun. It's the hunt, right?
Right.
You find something, and then you go ahead and do your best for your client, go all out, and then you get referrals that way. I mean, most of my business has been
referral based.
Yeah, I would say basically. So fast forward, I did that for a little bit. 2016, I opened up Apex Brokerage.
So you were just kind of an independent agent working under a brokerage.
Yeah, I was working under a brokerage, and then I got my broker's license in 2012 because that time you only had to wait 2 years instead of 4. But I just kind of hung my hat because I was still doing my stores and stuff and stuff like that. But I started drifting more and more into this profession, right? So 2016, I opened the doors for Apex Brokerage. Been about 8 years now, almost going on 9. Yeah. So at that time, I picked up 2 agents, and then of course I was doing my own deals. Now we're at about 40 agents total.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and still growing the firm, and we have over 100 commercial listings in town.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So
we were just joking that like I see your signs all over the town, man. That's incredible.
Thank you.
You're certainly building a brand and a reputation.
Yeah, I'm still growing.
So walk me through. 2 to 40 is quite a leap. I understand as well. This is a 7-8 year journey, which is still incredible. What's driving you to continue to build that side, and unpack a little bit of the org chart? Like, what was that first administrative operational hire? Like, walk me through a little bit of that, because it's always confusing. It's like, as an independent salesperson, you're go, but when you start leading a team, it's like a whole different world.
As an entrepreneur, you have to wear like so many hats, right? But you gotta have the right admin, the right team to kind of help you grow that. So I was like, man, I can't do a lot of these remedial tasks because I can't look at the big picture, So I hired somebody, and then basically we were kind of like working hand in hand. A lot of stuff was kind of like being handled by the admin and whatnot, and then started tracking new agents. And I was looking more quality over quantity kind of thing. I mean, I don't want to be a Keller Williams I'm always going to be a boutique firm at the end of the day, right?
Right.
But my thing is like, I want to go and get those agents that want to get into commercial and do residential, and I'm willing to go ahead and teach. I did that all my life, right? In wireless too. I took stores that were bleeding, picked them up. I made people that were not salespersons. I made them believe in themselves, and now they're like superstars. And they still call me like 12 years later, hey, I'm doing this now, and stuff like that.
So do you still have any of the cellular?
I sold my last few stores last year.
Oh wow.
I didn't.
So you held on for quite a while though.
What's that? Yeah. So I wasn't actively trying to sell, but I got an unsolicited offer, and it was a handsome offer.
That's great.
So I was like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna go and shift 100% here.
Yeah.
Although it was still like it was on autopilot, and it was still decent money, but I was like, you know what? If an opportunity knocks, I'm gonna take it. You know.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So now you're all in
Yeah.
on the real estate business. 40 agents, you know, I'm assuming, or 40 bodies.
Yeah.
Admin stuff in there.
20 are full time. The other 20 are kind of part timeish.
Yeah, just transitioning,
yeah,
agents,
yeah.
which is normal, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You did that yourself, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
kinda
yeah.
started on that journey, so you have a
Exactly.
good platform to kind of you know, train on
Yeah.
around that.
Yeah.
So where are we going with it? What's the plan?
I mean, the thing is, you know, I want to go ahead and get more listings, and I want to get more and more deals done, and of course, grow the team slowly but surely, kind of thing. You know.
And you know, as somebody who's surrounded around, you know, high velocity real estate teams on the regular, most just focus on sales and generating, you know, revenue and cash flow and things like that, and just growing that. You've started to kind of add, you know, your own real estate holdings. So let's start talking about that. Where did that strategy come from? Where did you get excited about it?
Yeah,
What is
yeah.
your strategy?
Yeah. So for me, I'm not that mailbox money kind of guy. I like to take risks. I'm more on the development side.
Okay.
So I got into the flex space and also office condominium space too. So I'm working on a few developments right now. And the first one I did was like we started in 2020, right in the pandemic, I think.
Okay.
The thing was the construction prices pre-pandemic were so much lesser, right? And then it just went up. But you're in it. Now you got to go all the way, balls to the wall, you know? So,
That's right. That's right.
So, you know, thanks to God, I mean, it's working out.
So you're developing ground up. Obviously, you got a lens for identifying good locations and kind of, you know, what type of asset to build on it. You mentioned Flex Warehouse. Was that your first one, a Flex Warehouse? Like you just went in all in ground up, which that's a risky deal. You're not wrong.
But the thing is, I mean, I like to take risks, but calculated risks, of course, right?
Sure.
I've done it for, you know, a few clients of mine, and then I saw the opportunity. I was like, you know what? Why not me?
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
So then, and I got into that.
So, out of curiosity, how did you capitalize this stuff? Are you raising money? Are you bootstrapping? Are you doing your own thing?
Yeah, basically. So I usually pick up like 1 or 2 partners on a deal. Like I don't really advertise much. It's just like friends and family kind of thing, you know. So.
That's also kind of normal in most people's journey. So you build these warehouses. You said office condo. So one version is you like build it and just kind of have these multiple units.
Yeah. So basically, like for example, we have one which is it's already like cookie cutter. You've got your conference room, you've got a few offices, and then you have a kitchenette area, all ready to go, one price.
Right.
And then the person just buys it. So we've noticed these types of investments work pretty well in the suburbs.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So, especially post-COVID life, right?
Yeah.
People don't want to commute all the way into downtown or wherever, or have these fancy offices.
Yeah. So that's one product. The second one is Flex Warehouse. That's your normal internet guy, or could be a sports gym, could be automotive. Although I don't really take too many automotives in our place.
Yeah.
So you know, things like that.
Cars.
What's that?
They put all their cars in the parking area.
No, and I don't want a bunch of tires everywhere.
That's right. Yeah.
So things like that, right?
Interesting.
But yeah.
And those are just long-term leases.
Long-term leases, but then my thing is to go ahead and fill it up and sell it.
Exit or or whatever makes sense.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So, well, how are we going to expand that? Are we going to build that portfolio? What are we doing?
That's the plan. That's the plan right now. I think there's still a lot of opportunity in Houston. I mean, you know, there's land available, and although prices have gone up a little bit from before, but there's still room.
So how are you juggling both as a brokerage, especially with that big of a team?
Yeah,
that's a lot of attention and effort, and
of course, I mean, it takes a team to run this, right?
Right.
You know,
right.
So thankfully I've got that. You know,
What's your org chart look like today?
Today, man, I've got of course, pleasure with being with you this morning.
Please.
So I had a showing this morning for this was a small residential for one of my friends. And then after this, I'm taking my team to teach them basically, or actually we're going to go on property tours for our listings, because the thing is, like, between different brokerages and us, I give a lot of leads out to my agents because you know, we've been blessed with a lot of inventory, right?
Yeah.
So I need to make sure my team knows, hey, you know, this property, this is the traffic count, this is the survey, this is the boundary line, this is how much frontage is on the land, et cetera, right? So that way they're well equipped. So I'm gonna train them from 12:30 to about 2:30.
Got it.
And then I've got another meeting with the potential client after that. And
Sorry, so that's the day in the life. I meant like, what is your team structure today? Like, what, like you've got yourself kind of running the show,
Yeah.
and you've got kind of an operations person, like trainer. Do you have trainers? Do you have team leads? Like, what do you have going on?
Yeah, so basically, it's just me and then another office manager.
Oh,
you know?
wow.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's
And then
it.
a lot of
That's it. But the thing is that office manager, they're pretty close to. They know exactly what I'm doing, so they're kind of exposed to what do you call it? The deals that I'm working on, and of course the agent side, and of course the development side. You know.
And then, so I was going to ask you on your development side, are you like hiring like just a full-fledged contracting team or contractor?
Yeah.
Or are you subbing this stuff out yourself?
No. I've got a good contractor, and you know we have a meeting once a week and
Just talk about the project.
Yeah, and get all the details out. You know, so my day starts early, so
Yeah.
You just have to manage time, right? 'Cause think about it, you got to manage not just your work life, but then your family life too, right?
Of course.
You know, and that's another thing, and you know, so it's a juggling act.
Well, it's perfect segue. Let's talk about your family.
Yeah, so you know, been married for about 16 years now. I've got 2 kids, a 7-year-old girl and a 12-year-old boy. Both keep me busy.
Yeah.
They were together only 1 year in elementary. That was because kindergarten and
the
5th
overlap.
grade.
Yeah.
Unless he gets held back or she skips the grade.
They're just going to be
Yeah.
two different independent people.
Yeah. So he started middle school. It's a big transition for him, but now he's kind of getting used to it.
That's great.
Yeah, and he's all into technology, you know. So
Oh, that's cool.
he can tell you anything about
The wireless in your DNA kind of shifted in there, right?
Yeah, but he's more into like, I don't know, like robotic stuff and you know things like that.
That's
So,
very cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
AI and all that.
So tell me about your why. Like, what is?
Man, it's
what
all
is
about the
vision?
family, you know. Like I want to leave a legacy behind for my kids, you know. I've been through a lot of my life, you know. When I was a young growing up, you know, my father, he was in business, but he lost a lot, you know. His warehouse burned down totally.
Oh my
you know,
God.
and he didn't have insurance.
Wow.
You know, so you can imagine like the stress that puts on a family, right? And me being the older brother, I had to step up, and you know, going to college, paying for school, and then working. But I knew, I was like, man, the only way I'm gonna make it is, you know, being in business, you know.
Right.
And one thing I noticed while growing up, so I had like my parents, they have different groups of friends and whatnot, right? So you got the entrepreneurs and you have like people in corporate.
Right.
So I always noticed like, okay, entrepreneurs, they just seemed a little bit more, they had a little more freedom, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And they were just a little more relaxed. Like, of course, the ones that were corporate, yeah, weekend life, you know, it's good. But then when Monday comes, it's like a different kind of stress. But
That's right.
That Monday for the entrepreneur was different.
Yeah.
I couldn't put my, you know, exact, because I was growing up at that time, but I just saw like, I want to go that direction. You know, so.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I could say, I'm sure we both feel the same way. Like, you know, there's still, you know, an extreme amount of stress, right?
Oh, extreme.
But
Extreme.
It's like, just like to your point, it's a different stress.
It's a
right?
different stress. You know, there's a lot of things, right? You can't crack under pressure.
Right.
You know, there's gonna be things thrown at you, like so many things. You know.
Right.
But you have to deal with it. You got to figure it out, and you know.
That's not for everybody.
It's not for
Right.
It's not for everybody. Yeah, you're right. You know, but it's you gotta. I mean, you just gotta take risks.
Do you attribute kind of being surrounded by it through your dad's businesses?
Oh yeah. That kind
of helped you kind of groom you and shape you from the onset, right?
That, and also a few of my friends that took that bold step, you know, and
Right.
few of them went the other way, and I followed this, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm still like, I still ask them for advice, and they do the same
Yeah.
thing. You
I
know?
mean, there's nothing like the value of a peer group of people that are doing kind of similar, even though like, you know, you and I collaborate on, you know, over the years on just, you know, minor instances,
Yeah.
but, you know, we get to watch each other's journey and watch each other develop, and it's like inspiring, right?
For
You
sure, man. I love your social media, by the way.
And I, you know, that's the funniest thing, because I'm so self-judging about I don't
That's the
think
thing,
my
we're-
presence is great at all.
Here's the thing, we're hard. Somebody told me this. Like, why are you so hard on yourself? You
Right.
know?
Right.
And don't expect the world to know what a cap rate is, or
Right.
you know, assume everybody is like, just your audience doesn't know anything.
That's right.
And that's what kind of like, you know, pushed me. So I'll talk a little bit about that. So
Please.
there's this guy in Bali that kind of inspired me to do different these different videos that I do, like jumping over a building.
I love it. I love
you
it.
know, things like that. And then, so my camera guy, he used to do a lot of car shoots for me, and he used to live in Colombia, and then he would live like 6 months in Houston, 6 months in Colombia, and then he moved here last year permanently. So I hired him full time to go ahead and just,
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
awesome.
I'm sponsoring him for his visa and all that.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
I mean, what an incredible.
Yeah.
opportunity.
We became like, it's like family now, So
So
Yeah.
he was your photographer overseas,
yeah.
or
he would-
a photographer overseas.
Yeah, so one of my agents that's her and her nephew is like, hey, you should check him out,
Yeah.
And I saw his work, and it was like really professional and whatnot, and then I was like, hey, can you shoot some car stuff? He's like, yeah, for sure. And then he
Wow.
did that for a little bit, and then he's like, hey, well, how about we do this like on the business side? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then he's like, okay, I'm gonna move down. And
Wow,
Yeah,
that's a hidden nugget right there, man. To be able to do that.
Yeah.
One, we're blessed to have a platform like that
course.
to support people.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't even imagine in your wildest
yeah.
dreams,
I mean,
right?
you give and then you get, right? I mean, it's just like, so I read a book. I don't know if you read that book. It's called Tuesdays with Maury.
Oh yeah.
Living
It's
is
been a long time.
Yeah. Living is giving.
Right.
So
That's right.
give out, and then
Yeah, you get back. Right?
Yeah.
As much as you give out. That's
yeah.
great.
And with no expectations, even if you don't get back, but somehow the universe, sees.
Yeah.
it,
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So let's talk a little bit about kind of, you mentioned, mentors and things like that. Who's been kind of some mentors in your journey?
Man, definitely my dad for sure. My father-in-law for sure when he was alive.
Oh, wow.
He passed during the pandemic.
Sorry.
Really look up to him. One of my uncles too. These are like strong pillars, man. Like they came from nothing, and then they build, right? And when you see like their legacy, and they did all this for their kids,
Right.
it just kind of inspired me. I want to do the same thing.
I love it. So that's your why, and you had kind of mostly, it sounds like, familial, pillars and
Yeah.
mentors along the way.
Definitely.
What would you say are some kind of lessons maybe that you learned on that journey that is there anything that stands out?
Man, just I think, taking advice from people is good, but always like whenever I went in my gut, I just, I was right. Most of I would say 99.9%.
Trust your gut.
Yeah, follow your gut, man.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to take that risk. If you see something positive coming out of it, just go for it all the way.
That's awesome. No, that's good stuff. And so let's kind of just circle back. You're going to continue to build the brokerage, just grow, kind of the organic piece.
Yeah,
of it.
organic, pretty much.
Is there a target? Is there a destination?
Like I said, I don't know. In terms of like agents, I don't know what that number is. I still want to keep it kind of small because I'm still going to be a boutique firm.
40 is not small, sir. But that's great.
But not like, like a KW or
Right.
EXP or something,
the big boys. Yeah.
Yeah, not like that, So that, of course, I want to do at least one development a year.
That's great. That's good.
One, minimum one.
Yeah.
So that's like my ultimate goal.
And are you ever going to start building a hold portfolio, or are you going to still keep just kind of exiting?
I think just build, fill, sell, is
great.
what I want to do right now.
That's great. No, and that makes sense. I mean, it's if you've got a factory going, right? Some of the most successful people I've met have been developers, right? In many capacities, right? Whatever asset class they're developing. So it's a great kind of formula.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shift a little bit, some passion. We have common denominator. We're both gearheads.
For sure, man. I love cars.
tell me-
Since I was a kid.
Tell me about the cars. The posters on the walls, right?
Yeah, man.
We're loosely blessed enough to have some of that stuff in our real
Yeah,
life
for
now.
sure. I mean, it was my lifelong dream to own an exotic car, and I gave myself a goal, like I'm gonna go and get one before I turn 40.
Nice.
And I was gonna go and pull the trigger at 37, but something happened financially. Well, not. It was a little setback that happened in 2017,
Sure.
but so then I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So right before my 40th birthday, and I saw this Lamborghini Huracan, and it was sitting at Indigo, and I was like, man, should I do it? Should I not? And then it was like a big purchase, right? Before I was looking at some AMG GTs, and my wife was like, "No, you worked your ass off. You worked so long to do this. Just go ahead and do it."
Yeah.
And then I got it right before my birthday. So
Oh, that's
that was my
awesome,
first one. So
Wow. And then
Yeah.
you've kind of been cycling, trading them up.
Yeah,
kinda
yeah.
just-
A few,
It's
few
turned
cars.
into an own passion in itself.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's fun, you know. It's definitely a stress reliever when you go on the rallies, right? When you
Yeah.
going on those country roads and whatnot. So
cruising.
yeah, it's fun.
So
Yeah.
is there a business opportunity there down the road, or is that just something just more of a passion thing?
No, more of a passion thing, you know. Just it's kind of like your outlet that you go to, you know.
Right.
That and the gym, of course.
Yeah,
you
of
know,
course.
right.
I mean, could always make that a bigger passion, but
Yeah. But you can never go wrong when you invest in yourself, right?
Right.
You know, all my life I was investing in family and everything else, but then I realized in my 30s, I got to do something for myself too.
Yeah,
you know?
that's right. That's right. That's great. So you kind of cycled through some exotics and things like that.
Yeah.
There's an interesting. There's some synergies around the community and the car community, which is it's a very active and.
It is.
Is there some synergies that kind of connect to
You know,
business?
yeah. So last month there was a panel in one of the car clubs, Team Savage, and they asked me to go ahead and speak
Oh, cool.
to the young generation and whatnot.
Oh, that's
So
great.
I was part of a panel. It was like a Q&A, and it was like 4 or 5 other very successful entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And I kind of gave them my journey and then things of that sort, you know. So there's definitely a lot of like-minded people in these car clubs. You know, they're all about entrepreneurship, you know, different things from real estate, and I've seen different journeys. You know, there's one guy he does what do you call it? Those shows, you know, like when a concerts come.
Oh yeah. Big events.
Yeah. Couple of guys, they have like 15 or 20 businesses, from construction to real estate to building hospitals. You know, so it's good. You're able to go ahead and kind of like talk about your journey, and you hear about theirs and things like that. You know, so it feels good to kind of like
But that's different from the car community.
Yeah, from the car community.
That's so cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, let me ask you this, I always struggle with like, how do you keep your kids grounded? We're all very blessed at this. I mean, we worked hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes those things show, right?
Yeah.
But we all came up from similar really challenging kind of upbringings. And so we didn't quite get the exposure, that I think our kids are getting now. And so the life benefits and lifestyle things that weren't always easy.
I mean, my wife has done a really good job of kind of raising them as well, and it's just family values, man. And she, like, my kids are like, oh, don't take me in your exotic because I don't want people to know.
Oh, that's good.
You know?
Funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
At least they're humble about it. That's
yeah,
good, right?
they're very humble about things like that. So it's kind of like that. So I think some part of your DNA is gonna flow regardless to your kids, right?
Sure.
Without you even knowing. So
it's a funny story. My son, I thought would be the car guy, and when we purchased one of our toys, recently, I was like, hey, come help work on it with me, and that'd be some memories we make. And he had zero interest. My daughter rolled out, and she's like, let's go with the screwdriver and the thing, and let's get it done. So you just never know, right? Who's gonna carry to your point about the DNA, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that's gonna be her calling, and you just never know.
You never know.
So I mean, tell me some kind of other strategies or things like that. Let's talk just a little bit tactical, and as we kind of start to round ourselves out. But like, you've hit a high of 100 commercial listings. That is incredible, right? That's not easy to do as somebody that understands how hard it is to get one. Right.
Yeah.
And so, like, talk to me about tactical. What are you guys doing? What are some strategies that you think are valuable?
Man, clients needs first regardless, right? I mean, always have your clients back no matter what. I've saved some clients from making wrong decisions because I saw like, hey, you know what? If you do this, then in the future you're gonna get hurt this way.
Yeah.
And things like, and they always expect you to know everything. And sometimes I may not know the answer, but I'll tell them, hey, I don't know, but I'll figure it out.
Right. That's good.
I'll tell you an example, right? So one of my clients wanted to buy some land on Highway 6. The thing is, you can't get an entrance there because of the speed, right? But then they're like, I'm gonna back out of the land if you can't get that. So I called TxDOT, and then they're like, oh, you can do a variance, and then show me what your plan is, and then I just made up a plan myself because we're like under the gun,
So early, yeah.
Yeah. So they're like, okay, this will work. Preliminary approval, yes, but you'll have to get the actual one done with,
Yeah, like the full architecture. Thing, yeah.
So thank God, man, we're like in the 11th hour and I was like, man, we got to make this deal work.
Wow.
Because they wanted to buy it, but
yeah,
driveway access is important.
But it's also something they wouldn't even had a clue how to navigate it.
No,
Right?
Different things. Like I remember I sold some other land and it had these big old poles, the power poles.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, do something about that. What can we do? Because it's right in the middle. The land was like hella cheap, right?
Right.
So it was like the base was going to be low for them. So then same thing, I called Centerpoint and we figured out you can actually bury the poles underground, 15 grand a pole. They're still like, it's really nothing because the land was so cheap,
Wow, yeah.
So different things, you gotta.
I mean, you're going above and beyond for the clients.
Have to, man. You have to.
Calling, TechStock, calling Centerpoint. Those are, first of all, those are not easy phone calls, right? To navigate and get the right.
You get the right person, I've got some land right now. It's a challenging land and it's got a restriction of you can't do a gas station, and everybody's calling me for a gas
for the gas station
because Circle K owns it. So I gotta navigate. Who do I gotta call? Circle K. Hey, what is it gonna take to get this restriction off? They have it for like 30 years. You can't build a gas station.
Wow.
I already got some grays right now, man. I can't wait just 30 more years for that.
I mean, that's the stuff you're talking about is deep tactical knowledge.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like that just time in the game is the only way you learn these things.
Right? Yeah. Just going through the motions, right? And figuring things out like that. So
what is your coaching strategy for new agents? Like, what are you typically doing?
Don't be a secret agent. Let everybody know what you're doing.
I like that. That's a good.
What's that?
I like that terminology. That's smart.
Yeah. And don't fake it till you make it. Face it till you make it. I always say that to them. You might not know the answer, but don't look like a fool. You're gonna lose credibility real quick, especially in the commercial game.
Right.
Nobody's gonna trust you.
Right.
I built my reputation. I built Apex's reputation for the last 8+ years, and for you to be on my team, ask me if you don't know, ask. But don't give out like a weird answer or something. It puts my name on the line, of course, you as well, and then we have to go ahead and fix that.
Secret agent that's awesome, man. I'm gonna steal that. That is great because basically, you're talking about being visible, right?
Of course.
In a very crowded, very noisy era, the internet has changed our attention, right?
Yeah.
So you have to like grab attention. Honestly, that translates to your strategy on social media. Like, you underplayed how impressive your social media strategy is. Right?
Yeah, but I'm not getting too many likes, but people are always like telling me, like, hey, I've seen this.
I think nowadays, like, there's less and less people like it because it's so fast.
It is,
You're just seeing it.
You're right, yeah, true.
You're building the brand recognition, right?
Yeah.
Inch by inch, like I know when your video, when I see you start, I know it's gonna be some kind of funny, unique kind of like thing, and I'm like, man, I don't even know where you came up with this idea. It's incredible, but it resonates, right? Because it's sticking, and then you're subtly getting the message across, right?
Yeah.
But that translates to the young agents, right? Like they have to stand out from a very crowded, ecosystem of agents. There's so many of them.
Yeah. And anybody can go and take a picture with the key, and I like to tell a journey. I saw this guy came to me and he was like, I want to go ahead and open up a shooting range, and it was a while. We had to find some. Luckily, somehow this guy posted something, or he sent me an email like an existing shooting range with the real estate for sale, and it was a journey. You have to go ahead and get like bonded with what is that, the ATF and all that.
Oh yeah.
I don't know where. Yeah,
that's where.
So a lot of things like that, and I was able to learn like this is what you have to do, and so for them, I kind of like told the journey like, okay, we started looking at the locations and then we found one that was existing. Luckily we got that, and then we went through that route and stuff like that.
So you mentioned kind of like face it till you make it. Also a great keyword, man.
For sure, man.
Write some slogans and put those on some shirts. But in theory, you're just kind of leaning into gaining knowledge as you go, right? As a professional, right? That applies to every profession.
For sure, you learn from every deal. You pick up something.
Right. No, I love that. Any other kind of like closing kind of thoughts, and then I just talk about kind of what's next for you guys.
Yeah. Pretty much, just trying to go ahead and close out this year. 2025 looks good. I mean, I think it's going to be good for real estate. I think interest rates probably coming down. You would probably know, right?
Everybody pray to your gods, please. Like that's all. At this point, I don't know what else is left, but fingers crossed. We'll see what's ahead in the interest rate market.
Yeah.
I anticipate, we just don't know how low. There'll be some adjustments, hopefully in the right direction.
Yeah. I'll leave it with one last line. Replace the words "what if" with "even if." Even if this happens, because greatness lies on the other side of fear.
Right. No, that's
You gotta
true.
you gotta
Yeah.
you gotta go ahead and go with that mentality, man. You
I
know?
love that. I love
So
that.
for sure.
Farid, man, this has been great. I really appreciate you. I'm gonna have all the kind of contact information,
For
your
sure.
social medias for sure, and all the notes. So don't worry, everybody.
Let's
will know where to
collab,
find
man,
you.
for sure.
Yeah, I'd love it, and then I'll set up another check-in maybe in a year or two. See what's the latest car, what's going on.
Yeah, for sure, man. And love to hear about your stuff too.
Absolutely,
For sure. Yeah,
absolutely.
definitely.
Awesome, brother.
All right,
Thank
for
you.
sure. Yeah.
Cheers.
All right, definitely.